Hi, Miss Curry. I'm just calling to find out if you know about the plans for the new school year. Hey, Miss C. I just wanted to know if we're going to be coming back to school for the new school year. Have no fear. Miss C is here to help you navigate your affairs about the new school year. So I've been getting quite a bit of messages from parents and students asking me about the plans for the new school year, and to be honest, I can understand why you are asking those questions, why you're trying to figure out how the new school year will look. As you are aware, the Ministry of Education in the Bahamas announced that we will be going 100% virtual at the start of the school year, and as the term progresses, they will see if we'll be able to transition into the blended school environment. If you're interested in hearing the difference between both models and similarities, as well as what you need to know to be prepared, then definitely stay tuned. Hi there, awesometastical people, and welcome back to Teaching with a Spin, where we creatively put a spin on teaching and learning. This is the start of Miss C's summer series, so I hope that you will stick around for tips and tricks that you will need to navigate the new school year as we return to school. Believe me when I tell you that we are all trying to navigate the pandemic. We're trying to figure out the best possible avenue to take as it relates to the reopening of school. If I'm being completely honest with you, I prefer the traditional face-to-face learning environment because there are so many complexities of the online, virtual, remote, distance learning that we have to take into consideration that it becomes overwhelming for teachers, parents, and students at times. First and foremost, 100% virtual means that you will be getting instruction completely online, whether in an asynchronous, which means that you'll be watching pre-recorded videos designed by your teacher, or a synchronous learning environment where you're on at the same time with your teacher via mediums like Zoom or other video conferencing apps. The blended learning environment, however, is, as the name suggests, meshing both virtual learning or distance learning with traditional face-to-face learning, which means that on some days students may be required to come into school, and other days they'll be receiving instruction completely online. Both models will require teachers, parents, and students to work collaboratively. I can't stress this enough. It can't just be on the teacher to figure out what it is to do. Parents and students have to be on board so that we can work together as we all transition this new norm. At the end of the day, teachers too are learning. I know that I've had to do quite a bit of research on best practices as it relates to digital learning and remote learning. And I've also had to research the most effective apps for students that are easy to navigate. In the first distance learning session that we had in March, a lot of my students struggled to properly navigate the respective digital platform. Both models will require students to have an electronic device and access to the internet. It is paramount. Thankfully, the Ministry of Education and schools are trying to find ways in which we can help to ensure that all students have access and we make education equitable for all of our students. I know at my school, we have been working diligently to advocate for resources for students. As I said earlier, we're all working together to figure this out, to navigate it, and don't get overwhelmed by the fact that you may not be able to supply a tablet or a cellular phone. Find out from the school that your child attends if they have resources to assist, and I'm sure that if they don't have the resources, teachers, administrators will definitely work along with you to advocate for those resources and to put those things in place to assist every student. We are in this together. I can't stress that enough. Both models will require digital literacy skills. What is digital literacy skills, Miss C? Digital literacy skills means that you need to know how to operate and use the resources and apps that you will be required to access. This means checking out YouTube videos, doing a little bit of research, and there is a wealth of information on the internet. So I'm sure that you'll be able to find a myriad of different resources to assist you in knowing how to use the laptop, knowing how to type in a Microsoft Word or on Pages if you have an Apple device. It is so important that our students and our parents know how to navigate these resources, because it makes life a bit easier for teachers when it comes to being able to mark and access assignments. I know in March I had some challenges with my students opening certain documents or typing within documents, and so we had to work through that together. Now, as teachers, we know that there are students who are on different levels, and that's perfectly fine. At the end of the day, the purpose of education is to help students progress at their varied levels. However, the digital or virtual learning environment requires a little bit more independence from students, because, I mean, of course, the teacher isn't there to be on top of you. I know my students will tell you when they have access to me face to face, I'm on top of them. So it is important for them to have some level of independence and responsibility. I know I gave my students a schedule to follow, and some of them followed through with it spot on. Others of them had challenges with it. With the virtual learning environment as well, parents also have to be a bit more independent as it relates to ensuring that your children have someone who's there to be a guardian for them while they're home, as well as to ensure that they are adequately prepared for their lessons. And when I say that, I mean making sure that they have snacks, making sure that they eat a hearty breakfast so that they will be well and function. Many students, even with the traditional face-to-face, will come to school and they haven't had breakfast, and it's very difficult for them to function. So we want to make sure that our children, our students, have access to wholesome meals that will contribute to their brain development so that they can be productive students. One of the things that I really love that I've seen a lot of parents do, they've been swapping out toy areas for at-home workspaces. So in the virtual learning environment, you definitely want to make sure that you two are creating a comfortable learning environment for your child that is conducive to their development. I can't stress this enough. They shouldn't be where distractions are. I know, let me tell you all this little joke. While we were on, there was a lot of distraction from the television, the radio. You want to make sure that your child has an area slot out for them where they can actually focus on the lessons that are being given, and also really have a healthy learning environment. Now, with the blended learning environment, which means that students are going to be coming in for some face-to-face interaction. Sure, please. I taught summer school. To be honest with you, it was not bad. Our administration made sure that the physical and social distance protocols were adhered to. They also made sure that we had regular temperature checks, people were sanitizing, and that the classrooms were being properly sanitized. I must give it to them for really trying to put those measures in place to ensure safety and to mitigate the spread of the COVID-19 virus. One thing that we know about teenagers have to be around their friends. They want to chill, they want to chat, they want to, catch up on the latest business, I guess, in the teenage realm or the children realm. So students will have to know that they have to adhere to the physical distancing protocols, meaning that they have to stand 7 feet away from their friends, their peers, which I know students is rough. But, it is what it is for the time being until this craziness is over with. We'll be required to wear our mask. Now, this proved to be a challenge because students seem to be getting really dehydrated. So I had to remind them to bring water. The masks are extremely hot. It's difficult, especially for me as a teacher wearing them and trying to teach. Students were not hearing me very well, and I wasn't hearing the students very well. But we had to try to make it work. We had to do sign language. We had to figure it out. Another thing with the blended learning environment is that you want to equip your child or children with hand sanitizer, with disinfectant wipes. You want to make sure that they know proper sanitization methods and that they are using them. Also, with the blended learning environment, if the Minister of Education does decide to do the shift system, you have to take that into consideration as well, because that would mean for parents who have two children at the same school, that your child in the first grade may have a different shift time than your child in the sixth grade. But that is something that will definitely be discussed and explored more in depth. But it's very important to also keep up with the Ministry of Education's Facebook and YouTube pages so that you are aware of what's going on. Like I said at the beginning, we're all in this together, and we can only succeed given the circumstances if we are helping each other out and assisting each other to navigate these new norms, this new pandemic craze, and we'll get through it together. To my awesometastical parents and students, I know that we have been dealing with a lot over the past few months, from last year with Dorian, now this year with the pandemic. And I know that it's very easy to become overwhelmed by all of the information that's coming at you and all of the adjustments that have to be made. But please do not panic. We're going to figure this thing out. Thank you for sticking with me all the way to the end of this video. As we get closer to the reopening of school, you can definitely look forward to more tips and tricks that you can use to be ready for the new school year.